I've never heard that name. That is not in my memory
It
at
had
all.
blue shutters.
I remember that,
And we would sing, "Bye, baby blue house." I don't remember the rest of it.
Like a prayer.
I was so young, I probably sang along and don't remember.
When did you live in the baby blue house?
Well, we lived there till 1950.
Okay.
We lived there from 39 to 50. 11 years.
So,
Mom and Dad bought that house.
I left there when I was 11. Not
You
13.
may have been, but it was 1950.
Well, 37 and 1950 would have made me
10.
We didn't
13
move there
years
till
old.
39.
I know, but I'm doing how old I was. And in 1950, I would have been 13. And I lived out at 11, I lived out on Gary.
No, you didn't. I started high school at Will Rogers High School my sophomore year, which we didn't have freshmen. I graduated in 53, and it was the fall of 1950 that we moved out there. We spent the summer at Mrs. Roderick's house, okay? And then we moved out there that fall, and it was 1950. And I lived there till I got married in 53. And
What was the Mrs. Roderick's house?
Well,
You just
the lady
temporarily
at our
stayed
church,
there?
Her husband had died, and she had a home, and she even had their car in the garage. Remember that old car in the garage? And Daddy, the house that he was building for us, we had to move out of our other house because it sold, and we didn't have anywhere to go. And the lady said, "I'm going to be gone." I don't know where she went.
she was going to be traveling that summer.
Either that or going to her kid's house or something.
And she said, "Come stay at my house."
She let a family of 5 kids?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Move into her house. And I remember sleeping with my butt up against the window, and people, I want to say, shooting a pea shooter through the
No,
screen.
it was a BB gun. I remember.
You think it was a BB gun?
Yeah.
I remember getting.
Because my butt was up against that window too.
One of us had to be up. There was not enough room, and we had 2 of us in, I want to say, twin beds.
They shot your butt?
Well, you had the one that was up against the wall, okay, and your butt would be up against the screen with the window open, and they would shoot things at our butts. Anyway.
Wow. It was
Safe.
not a good neighborhood.
I guess I take it not. There's Helen's butt again.
And that's the only thing I remember. I remember the garage with that old car in it.
Yeah.
And I remember that window with the screen where they shot BBs through that.
I didn't
thing.
remember what they shot.
I didn't get hit in the butt with a BB. Don't get me wrong, but they'd go ping and hit the screen.
They were bored.
How
long were you in the Gary house?
We were in the Gary house from the fall of 1950, and we moved in before the house was finished. And
okay, because Dad always said he helped Grandpa build that house.
Well, he had, that fall of 1950, it had no heating and no air conditioning. And when school started and it began to get cool, Daddy would get up every morning and build a fire in the fireplace. And Mom would make cocoa and those cinnamon cookies that she made. And we would crawl out of our beds and go in and warm up by the fire before we got ready for school. And I loved those days when we, instead of being seated at the kitchen table, we had our breakfast in by the fire so we could get warm.
Right.
Now, by probably November, the heating and air conditioning was in.
Mm.
But I loved those days.
So why did Dad say that he helped build the house? I mean,
Why did what?
why did Dad say he helped build the house?
Well,
I helped build it too. And so I'll tell you how I helped build it. There was a man at our church who was a builder, and Daddy had him build the house. But we were out there, Daddy was out there almost every day, and Daddy would take us out there to watch it. And the men in that were the men who did the brick laying and all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Let me lay bricks, put the cement down and
well, they
lay
would
bricks.
let us try to do some of the stuff they were doing.
Oh, okay.
We didn't really build the house.
Okay.
I built the doghouse. If you put bricks on that weren't really good because they wanted every brick on right.
Right.
After we would leave, they would
Yeah.
take our bricks off and they would redo it.
Oh,
But
okay.
they let us do that, and I can remember throwing bricks up. The higher it got, they had a scaffold inside, and they would throw bricks up. And I remember Paul participating, throwing the bricks up. So I felt like I participated in that house. And I feel like he participated in that house.
So that he was taking credit for having built. I gotcha.
Yeah.
That's so my dad.
But I built the doghouse, and they let me build it, and they didn't rebuild it. And it fell down within 3 or 4 years.
I was going to say, I don't remember the doghouse being brick.
Yeah, it
The
had
doghouse was white.
no, it had brick walls.
Did you have a dog?
It had a white roof on it.
We had Dusty.
They had brick walls,
Uh-huh.
Sherry
had a-
Dean's rose
a
dust.
plywood floor, all over the dirt, and then it had a plywood roof, which was maybe painted white. I don't know, but the mortar, there's almost an art to laying brick
Sure.
to be a really secure